Larry's Mark talking about just listen to the game to hear us when we think we're off and we aren't.
Welcome, everybody, to Sullivan North High School. Glenn May sitting Mike's side. I got Bob Graham on the right side, Charlie Wright on the left side, and Jack Allaire on the wrong side. No, Jackson over at the stat board.
And I just can no longer hear you, Glenn May.
You can no longer hear me. I just turned it down here. I'm still speaking, all right? You hear me, Charlie?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, Bob don't pay attention anyway. Okay. Bob, Sullivan North and the Tigers take on the number 1 team in the state of Tennessee, the unbeaten Dobyns-Bennett Indians, 26-0.
Well, they do. They take on a team that probably size-wise, overall is quite a bit bigger than Princeton. They will come out with Lee Garber, who will go out and play point guard at 6'5", all-stater last year, all-regional, all-district as a junior. Averaged over almost 15 points last year, hitting in at 16.5 points this year. They have a 6'6" center, John Gray, who's averaging almost 11 points a game. And they have a very senior-dominated team with the exception of Bruce Tranbarger, 6'6" sophomore, who's averaging almost 13 points a ball game. And they have an excellent shooting guard in Scott Fogle, 6'1" senior, who's hitting 15.6 points per game this year. Played for them quite a bit last year. And the other starter will be Rodney Bly, 6' sophomore. And, well, no, it'll be Derek Flack. Rodney Bly is a normal starter, but Rodney's been hampered with an ankle problem. So Derek Flack, a 6'2" junior, will be starting at the other guard.
And, Charlie, the Tigers coming off a very, very physical game last night and a big win over the Sullivan North Golden Raiders.
Sure was last night, Glenn. That was a very physical ball game. That's probably the most physical high school game I have seen. And tonight, after seeing the Dobyns-Bennett play last night, I was very impressed the way they shoot. They shot about 80%, I think, during the first quarter. So it could be very tough tonight.
The Tigers will have to play good defense at Sullivan North High School in Kingsport, Tennessee. By the way, Bob Graham, Charlie Wright, I understand there's a lot of people with pioneer spirit from Princeton. Some of them got lost on the way home last night.
Well, I understood there was one notable lost party last night, and I haven't seen that particular crew here tonight. I hope
they may still be lost.
They may still be trying to find a way back home.
They may still be lost. Send out a St. Bernard dog.
But Princeton does have a good crowd. One thing we might mention is that this game was expected to be a sellout. It is not a sellout at this point. There are plenty of tickets.
And, but there's not that many seats left in here, Bob. You said 1,500 tickets left. There's not 1,500 seats left in here. There's maybe another 300.
Well, that was about 20 minutes ago, too. But it doesn't appear that it's going to be all that crowded tonight. One of the reasons, I understand, is the road leading out of here, and the last time they played Dobyns-Bennett had a full house, there was quite a traffic jam. And a number of individuals said they wouldn't be back.
Well, I imagine right now that the parking lot's full, and they're probably parking people down on 11W.
Which is about a mile and a half away.
Or more. Across 2 hills, or something like that. What do you expect to see Dobyns-Bennett do tonight? I expect to see them try to go to the big men on the wings and go to that high post.
I think so. I think they have to. Princeton has to stop their outside shooting as much as anything else. Scott Fogle, who hit 47% last year, 47% of his points at guard, is a deadly shooter. And one thing I've noticed about both Dobyns-Bennett and the other team, that Sullivan North, is that they shoot from outside, and they're excellent shooters. Dobyns-Bennett's hitting over 50% for the year of their shots. Something, close to 60%?
Oh, they're over. The athletic director here at Sullivan North was telling me that on the season, Dobyns-Bennett's hitting about 63 to 64%. And many games they've been in the 70%.
You also mentioned that they were from the 15, 16-foot range?
That's the average length of their shot. Man, they can put them up. They fill it up pretty good. But now the Tigers, coming off that very physical game last night, we've got some bumps and bruises and injuries, and we don't know really how much that took out of the Tigers.
No, it was a very physical game, but these are young kids, and I look for Princeton to come out and play very rough and not really feel the pain until they start working out for Williamson on Monday.
But now, Charlie, I think you were talking with Mike Eves and looking at some of the war wounds that Mike had on him.
Yeah, after the game last night, we went in the dressing room, and Mike had a cut on the side and on the knee, and a blister on his foot, so that maybe hamper him. His foot may be hampered just a little bit tonight. And there was a lot of bumps and bruises. I think Jeff St. Clair said he was banged up on the leg and couldn't hardly, his right leg, couldn't hardly walk right after the ball game.
I understand that we also must allow Charlie time for retribution or clarification. He did not mean 41 chronological. He said that's how many mileage that she's showing. Is that what it was?
I heard. Now, wait a minute. I think I said 21. If I'm not mistaken.
Was it 61,000?
It was up there. It was up there.
Yeah, it was up there. So anyway, we're going to be back with basketball. First, let's pause 30 seconds for this. The Tigers on their floor down to the left, and we were watching them very closely there. The reason why I was a little late getting back to y'all to see if I could observe anything unusual. They look relaxed. They look like they're ready to play ball. Of course, Dobyns-Bennett's been on the floor down to our right. Dobyns-Bennett wearing burgundy here tonight, and of course, Tigers wearing white. They wore white also last night. They were designated a home team over to Dobyns-Bennett Gym, and now here's Sullivan North. They're the home team.
The overall size advantage is we're quite a ways from the floor. The overall size advantage is very apparent.
Especially on width. The Dobyns-Bennett team is very bulky. It looks to be very muscular, very strong. And the Tigers had a little trouble last night with Sullivan North because they crushed the board. They had a lot of physical strength. And let's hope that this the officials do not allow this to become a factor in tonight's game. And if they do, it could be rough on the Tigers. But I expect to see the Tigers out and try to move with the ball. I expect to see them to pound it down low and then actually fire it back out for that 15 to 20-foot jumper.
What do they do to stop Fargo shooting from that 20, 25-foot
I
range?
expect to see them to go to a 1-3-1 zone or a 3-2 zone, and they may have to go to a boxing one chaser or a diamond one chaser on him.
Expect them to abandon that 2-1-2 that they used last night quite a bit.
Right. I do not think that we'll see the Tigers in the 2-1-2 tonight at all because of the outside shooting ability of Dobyns-Bennett. They just have too much range, and these kids are not bashful about putting it up, or they were not bashful about putting it up last night.
One thing we hope to avoid tonight is Dobyns-Bennett got off to a real good start against Louisville. Louisville never really recovered from the, down 14 points into the first quarter?
They're down 18.
18 points.
All right, as we've got time, let's pause 30 seconds for this message. We'll be back with basketball right after this. Tigers are designated a home team on the scoreboard, and we're ready to introduce the starting lineup right now.
At forward, number 32, James DeWitt.
As they've introduced James DeWitt of the Tigers. And, of course, he'll be flanked for Dobyns-Bennett. And, of course, Jeff St. Clair now being introduced. DeWitt at a forward, St. Clair at a guard.
At forward, number 34,
Stephon Strain being introduced.
At guard, number 10, Mike Eads.
And Mike Eads.
And at center, number 40, Jim Miller.
And, of course, Jim Miller. I guess we could call Michael Eads the Earl of basketball.
I guess we could. Earl came in and played the excellent defense last night. He played defense in that Beaver game, and Earl's been a real horse for the Wisconsin Tigers.
So they're introducing the Dobyns-Bennett Indians now.
Glenn, while we're talking about Earl, he was the second leading rebounder last night in that game last night. He played for it after the game last night, too.
As Vogel being introduced for Dobyns-Bennett, and now Bruce Strandberger.
WAEY, AM and FM, Princeton.
As Lee Garber going out, one of the stars. And Derek Flack. So now the Tigers with Coach Ralph Paul, and we're way above the floor here tonight, looking down through the railing. And, of course, the teams around their coaches, Coach Walter Van Huss of the Dobyns-Bennett Indians. And, by the way, did you look at his lifetime record, Bob?
Well, he's been inducted into a number of Hall of Fames, including East Tennessee State, a special award from the Tennessee Hall of Fame. And he will be going after his 798th win tonight.
That's a bunch.
Of course, now they play 30 games down here, but still, that's a bunch.
Dobyns-Bennett right now 26-0 on the season. As we'll have Miller ready to move into jump. He'll be going up against John Gray of Dobyns-Bennett. As they're both standing outside the center circle right now, looking at each other. Miller plants one big foot in that center circle. John Gray plants one big foot in that center circle. We're waiting on the officials. The toss is up, tipped by the Tigers. Stephon pulls it out of the air. Gives it to Mike Eads. Mike to St. Clair, and Jeff will start the offense for the Tigers. Looks like a 2-3 zone right now for Dobyns-Bennett. As Eads with the ball on the wing right side. Back to St. Clair on the point. They bring it to DeWitt around the horn. Give it back to St. Clair, and they go to Eads. Eads looking at the bucket, looking inside. Dribbles back to the lane. To DeWitt. Drops it to Stephon low post. Goes across the lane. Fires on the iron. No good. Rebound pulled down by Dobyns-Bennett. As Garber pulls it down. Garber takes it to the front court. Gives it underneath to Fogle. Firing off the iron. No good. Rebound fought for. It's on the floor. Picked up by Strain as Stephon clears it out. Gives it to Miller. Miller releases to St. Clair. Jeff will move it to the front court for the Tigers. To the left side to Eads. He's on the wing position. Starts it toward the lane. Gives it back outside toward St. Clair as they give it to DeWitt. DeWitt firing from 25 feet off the iron. No good. Rebound tipped loose. Miller runs it down on the baseline. In the corner with it. Gives it out to Eads. Penetrates. Fires. Good. Mike Eads gets the Tigers on the scoreboard with 6:59 to play. The Tigers on top 2-0. As the Tigers will play a little face-up man-to-man defense now. It's Flack with the ball in the backcourt. Gets it to Fogle. As they move it into the front court to Gray. Gray on the right side with it. Gives it back out to the front to Fogle. Check that to Garber. Now they go to Fogle on the far side. Bring it back to Derrick. Flack is Flack on the point. To Fogle on the wing. Up high with it to Transberger. High post scoring. Good. Transberger, 16 feet, puts it in. 2-2. As the Dobyns-Bennett will play some face-up man-to-man defense. As Eads moves the ball to the front court on the left side for the Tigers. Takes it to the baseline. Left-hand dribble. Picks it up. Gives it back outside to St. Clair. He'll go to the point position. To DeWitt. DeWitt on the wing. Gives it back outside. St. Clair firing from 18 feet off the iron. No good. Miller rebounds in traffic. Puts it back up with a hook. Got it. Jim Miller hooks it back up and in on the rebound. 4-2. The Tigers on top. As Black will bring it to the front court for Bennett. Gives it outside to Garber. Garber drops it to Fogle on the wing. As they go down low with it to Transberger. Gives it back outside. This time they've got Garber firing. Gets off the iron. No good. Rebound fought for. We got a foul on Miller. That's number 1 on Jim. Team foul number 1 on the Tigers. And it'll be out of bounds on the baseline for Dobyns-Bennett. 4-2. The Tigers lead early in the first quarter. 5:53 left to play in the first quarter. As Garber will inbound it, he slips away outside to Fogle, to Flack, and Flack with the ball waits for Garber to come out and gives it to Garber. Garber, a 6'5" point guard. To Flack on the wing right side, to Transberger on the baseline. Brings it back outside as they move it to Fogle on the point position. Now to Transberger, high post, firing off the back iron, no good. St. Clair rebounding for the Tigers in the lane. As Jeff gets the pat on the back from Miller, and now they bring it to the front court. Eads with the ball, takes it to the left side. Gives it back to St. Clair, to DeWitt. DeWitt brings it toward the lane, gives it back to St. Clair, side of the key. They come to Eads on the near side. As there's 3 men collapsing on Miller underneath, and we've got a whistle and a foul.
He's got something in his eye.
Did Flack hit him? Derek Flack?
I didn't see it. I don't know.
I think he slapped at the ball and hit Eads, didn't he?
Must have. It looked like a finger maybe in the eye.
Now, they didn't call any foul. They just stopped it while he cleared his eye, and it'll be Preston ball out of bounds. As St. Clair with the ball on the inbounds play, gives it to DeWitt. DeWitt goes to the corner on the right side, gives it back outside to Jeff St. Clair. They come around the horn to Eads. Eads looking underneath. They cannot get Miller open as they have really sandwiched on Miller. As DeWitt, dribbling on the far side, has it taken away. As coming out with it is Fogle. Fogle into the front court with it. They drop it down low to Garber. Goes under and Miller blocks the shot. Garber puts it back up again. Good. Garber hits it for Dobyns-Bennett. 4-4. And the Tigers turn it over as they lose control of the inbound pass. 4:51 to play. And Dobyns-Bennett has the ball out of bounds front court as they inbound it to Fogle. Fogle on the point position. Brings it toward the right side. Holds it up. And now they drop it to Garber going under. He is fouled by DeWitt. To Gray as Gray was going under. Fouled by James DeWitt. And it'll be out of bounds to Dobyns-Bennett. That's number 1 on DeWitt. Team foul number 2 on the Tigers. As Fogle takes the inbound pass, brings it to the point position, backs his way in on St. Clair, takes it toward the left side, gets the pick, can't get around. As they get it to Garber on the high post, fires over Miller, no good, tipped up by Tronsberger, no good, it's out of bounds, it'll be Tiger ball.
I thought they officially called that the other way originally.
As DeWitt inbounds it to St. Clair. And they go against the press as Miller brings the ball to the front court for the Tigers. Top of the key, firing from 16 feet, good. Jim Miller puts the Tigers up 6-4. 4:21 left to play in the first quarter. As Garber with the ball in the backcourt for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it to Fogle. Fogle toward the front court, gives it back to Garber, and Garber will set the offense from the point position. They go to Fogle on the wing, left side. To Flack, top of the key with it. Bring it to Garber. They go down the post line, baseline to Gray. Firing off the iron, no good. Rebound to Garber. Backs his way in on Miller. Fires. We got a whistle. And 3-second call on Dobyns-Bennett. Good call. 6-4. Tigers lead by 2. We got 4 minutes left to play in the first quarter. As St. Clair gives it to Mike Eads, and they bring it to the front court. The Tigers on the offense. Eads on the right side. Gives it to St. Clair, top of the key. To DeWitt on the wing, left side. Back to Eads. Fakes the shot, goes inside, fires off the side of the key. In and out, no good. Tipped up by Miller. Got it. 8-4. Tigers lead by 4 with 3:41 to play in the first quarter. As Fogle with the ball for Dobyns-Bennett into the front court right side as St. Clair harassing him. We got a whistle and a foul on St. Clair, and the ball was already in Transberger's hands, and now we got a foul on St. Clair against Fogle. Number 1 on Jeff. Team foul number 3 on the Tigers.
Glenn, if you remember last night in the first half of the ball game against Louisville, Dobyns-Bennett only had 1 foul called against him in the entire first half. So far tonight, there's been no fouls called against Dobyns-Bennett.
As Fogle with the ball to Garber, high post. Holds it high overhead, starts it into the lane, fires, off the iron, no good. Rebound tipped out of bounds by Garber. Foul on Garber.
Coming over the back from Stephon Murray.
And it's number 1 on Garber, team foul number 1 on the Indians of Dobyns-Bennett High School from Kingsport. Preston leading 8-4 with 3:22 left to play in the first quarter. Jeff St. Clair with the ball for the Tigers. He'll bring it to the front court, right across the center circle. To Eads on the right side, wing position. Looking underneath, gives it back outside to St. Clair, and they bring it around to DeWitt. DeWitt drops it to Miller, low post, works on his man, goes under, scoops it up, no good. Rebound goes to the floor, put up by St. Clair. He's fouled. As St. Clair picking off the floor, putting it back up immediately and taking a foul from somebody.
It was on number 10, I believe that would be Flack.
And it is number 1 on Derek Flack. And team foul number 2 on Dobyns-Bennett. And Jeff St. Clair will be on the line. He'll shoot 2. 8-4 with 3:06 to play in the first quarter. As Jeff's on the line to take 2 shots. He's got the ball. Getting ready. He puts it up. Good. Jeff will get 1 more. 9-4. Tigers lead by 5 with 3:06 to play in the first quarter. And St. Clair ready now. Aims, fires, pulls the trigger, got it. 10-4. Tigers lead by 6. 3:04 to play in the first quarter. The Tigers will press as they get the ball to Garber. Throws it in the front court to Gray. Gray goes down, leaves it for Transberger. Firing off the baseline, got it. Bruce Transberger makes it 10-6. Tigers lead with 2:52 to play in the first quarter. As Eads working against the press in the back court. Moves it toward the front court, gives it to St. Clair. St. Clair gets it to the front court. They get it to DeWitt on the baseline. To try and get it to Stephon, has a knock loose and out of bounds by Flack. As Stephon had the back door open, they couldn't get the ball to him. It'll be out to the Tigers on the baseline of their own bucket. As DeWitt gets it into Miller, low post, goes under, drives, lays it up and in, good. And a charge is called. As Tronsberger moves in under Miller, and it fell down, and they call the charge on Miller. That's number 2 on Jim. And team foul number 4 on the Tigers. Well, when you get that kind of officiating, it's pretty easy to go 26-0.
Transberger was no ways near there. That was terrible.
12-6, the Tigers lead as Black will bring it to the front court down the left side. Gives it to Garber. Garber on the point position, looking underneath. Throws it through the corner to Fogle, firing out of the corner, good. As Fogle from 25 feet fills it up. 12-8, the Tigers lead by 4. As Eads working toward the front court with it against the press. Moves it to the front court. And they got a charging call against Eads. And again, when you got that kind of officiating at home, it's easy to go 26-0.
That's the 15th foul, Mike Eads' first foul. That was an excellent acting job and little more.
Well, he jumped over in front of him and leaned, and then fell away. We saw some real terrible officiating last night, some of the worst I've ever seen. All right, Garber brings it to the front court for Dobyns-Bennett. To Flack on the far side, firing on good. Derek Flack. It's a 12-10. Tiger lead cut to 2. We got 2 minutes and 1 second to play in the first quarter. Up court passes to Witt in the corner. Goes to the baseline. Drops it to Stephon. Goes across the lane. Fade away off the iron. No good. Tipped up by Miller. No good. Rebound comes off to Flack of Kingsport. As he'll give it out to Lee Garber. Garber into the front court with it. To Fogle. Fogle comes around St. Clair. Gives it to Gray. Gray gives it back to Fogle. He'll fire out of the corner, and it's off the iron. No good. Rebound underneath to Gray. Taken away by St. Clair. As Jeff into the front court with it. He's got Eads with him. Jeff goes down, lays it up. No good. We got a whistle. And I can't believe it. They called that one against Garber.
On Flack.
No, they didn't. It's on Flack. I didn't think of calling his Garber. He's the fair-haired kid. That's number 2 on Flack. Number 3 on the team. So St. Clair will be on the line. It's 12-10. The Tigers lead by 2. We got 1:32 to play in the first quarter. Jeff St. Clair will fire 2. He puts it up. It's good. He'll have a second one. Now, Dobyns-Bennett's got enough class and talent to win without this kind of stuff. And they can be representative in any sport. They don't need that. St. Clair fires. It's good. 14-10. The Tigers lead by 4. We got 1:32 to play in the first quarter. As Lee Garber with the ball in the backcourt for Kingsport, gets it to the front court to Flack. Derek Flack holds it overhead, gives it back to Garber. Garber on the point position, trying to go underneath with it to Gray, knocked loose, and St. Clair comes up with the ball for the Tigers. Gets it up court to Eads. Eads into the front court, puts it on the glass, got it. Mike Eads puts the Tigers out by 6, 16-10. With 1:08 to play in the first quarter. As Fogle into the front court with it for Kingsport. Holds it up, gives it back to Garber on the point. They go to Transporter on the high post, giving to Fogle, firing good. Fogle from 25 feet. 16-12. The Tigers lead by 4 with 54 seconds to play. As the ball stolen in the back court, and a foul called on Jeff St. Clair.
I have to say that was a good call.
Yeah, that was legitimate. Jeff held him.
Jeff's second foul.
Number 2 on Jeff. Team foul number 6 on the Tigers, is it? So that'll put Dobyns-Bennett on the free throw line. As going to the free throw line for them will be Scott Fogle, the guard. And we'll get Scooter Gwell into the ball game right now for the Tigers, and Jeff will get a chance to rest with those fouls, so they can't afford to get him in serious foul trouble this early. 50 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 16-12. Tigers are leading by 4.
Scooter's not going to take the shot.
But he stood out there like he was going to, didn't he? Scott Fogle on the line, shooting a 1-on-1. The first one is up good. He'll have a second one. As Fogle ready for a second attempt, he fires. It is on the iron, no good. Another rebound for the Tigers. 16-13. The Tigers lead by 3 as Gwill with the ball in the backcourt gets it to Eads. Eads in the front court with it for the Tigers. Gives it back to Gwill. He's on the point position. Gwill, the sophomore, playing for the Tigers right now. As Eads with the ball on the far side. Gives it back to Gwill and comes to this side. Gwill starts it to the lane. To the Witt. Firing out of the corner. It's good. And they call finally and say the bucket's no good. You know, some of our bad calls come from that one.
Yes, sir. They sure are.
16-13. Tigers lead. As Fogle with it on the far side for Kingsport. Gives it to Garber. As Garber tops the key with it, starts it toward the right side. Backs his way in. Gives it back outside to Fogle. Fogle starts it over the left side. Comes back and gives it 14 seconds to play for the last shot. As Fogle starts it. Off the iron, no good rebound, on-court tips around. So at the end of the first quarter of play, the Princeton Tigers 16, the Dobyns Indians 13, and we'll be back right after this. But it's easy to understand why the Dobyns-Bennett can win 26.
I think we're trying to call it as closely as we can to what we're seeing out there. And basically, we have one official who is very definitely favoring Dobyns-Bennett High School. He's called some very nitpicky calls. Jimmy Miller's going into the second quarter with 2 fouls. Princeton's been called for 16 fouls. Dobyns-Bennett 3. Dobyns-Bennett's been called for no mistakes whatsoever in this ball game so far.
Shirley, what's our shooting look like?
Okay, for Princeton in the first quarter, they made 6 of 14, 43%. They pulled down 9 rebounds and committed 3 turnovers. Dobyns-Bennett made 6 of 17 for 35%. They pulled down 5 rebounds and committed 2 turnovers.
All right, we're ready for second quarter. The Tigers come out with Stephon, Jim, James, Mike, and Jeff. As we'll have Miller in the jump against John Gray of the Dobyns-Bennett Indians. As Gray is in, Miller's in, the tip control by the Tigers as the Witt fills it up. He holds it, dribbles it quiet, and gives it to St. Clair. Jeff will start the offense now from the point position. Takes it to the top of the key. They go to Eads on the wing, right side. Drops it to the Witt on the high post, trying to get underneath the Stephon. Has a knock loose, picked up by Dobyns-Bennett. As Garber will bring it to the front court for Dobyns-Bennett. To Flack on the far side. Back outside now to Garber. To Fogle on the near side, firing from way outside off the front of the iron, no good. Rebound, knocked around out of bounds, and it's to the Tigers. So it'll be Tiger ball in the backcourt. 16-13, Tigers lead with 7:33 left to play in the first half as Jeff St. Clair breaks it slowly toward the front court. Toward the top of the key, to the right side to Mike Eads, on the wing, looking underneath. Goes back outside to St. Clair to Miller, out on the wing, left side. Jim, looking underneath, has the ball tipped, picked up by St. Clair, gives it back to Miller on the wing, to Eads in the corner. As Mike brings it around outside with it, and St. Clair way out front again. As Jeff works it back into the Witt. He's on the right side. They go to Miller on the low post, turning, firing off the baseline, no good. Rebound tipped to the floor, picked up by St. Clair. As St. Clair goes across the lane, works in, hooks off the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Transberger of Dobyns-Bennett. Gets it over to Garber. As Garber into the front court with it. Gets it to Fogle. Fogle back to Garber, firing off the side of the key, off the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Tigers as Stephon controls, and Transberger grabs him by the arm, no call. They give it to St. Clair, now to Miller. Miller into the front court on the dribble, starts it toward the key, to the Witt, goes to the baseline. Double clutches, gives it back to Miller, firing, and we got a whistle. And a foul called underneath.
John Gray, number 40.
Went on Jim Miller.
Oh, no! You gotta be kidding.
And so the Dobyns-Bennett bench gets up and congratulates the official. Now, I'll tell you this, Princeton should stay at home, no bother coming down here. If they're going to bring this kind of officials down, there's no reason why we should come down. Timeout on the floor. We'll pause for this. He intentionally called that the wrong way, just as sure as we're sitting up here at that same monkey. As you can tell, we're kind of frustrated with the officiating, and you can imagine what's wrong with how Ralph Paul feels about it.
Well,
he's come down here and got a couple of monkeys out here.
To recap that play, in the first place, it was the official that has not made many calls tonight. Jimmy had the ball underneath. There was nobody within 3 feet of him. Jimmy had the ball out in one hand, starting to go up with it. I thought that the foul had been called on John Gray. I just am flabbergasted by that call. And now they have Derek Flack on the foul line. Derek Flack was not in that play.
Well, he's going to shoot a 1-on-1 right now. So the Tigers get David Phillips into the ballgame.
And to repeat, Derek Flack was no ways near where that Jimmy Miller couldn't have reached him if it had been 15 feet tall.
As Flack fires, it's good. 16-14. Tiger lead cut to 2 now with 6:36 left to play in the first half. As Flack fires again, it's off the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Phillips.
Oh, no call!
As the ball knocked loose, put back up and in by Lee Garber. Tie ball game, 16-16. As the Tigers commit the turnover. As Eads now works it toward the front court against the press of Dobyns-Bennett. They get it to James DeWitt on the wing. As DeWitt Goes toward the lane, firing good. DeWitt from 25 feet. 18-16. The Tigers lead by 2. As Dobyns-Bennett brings it toward the front court. Lee Garber with the ball. Starts it toward the top of the key. Toward the right side to Flack. Flack holds it overhead. Gives it back outside to Fogel. Fogel on the far side with it to Garber. Gives it back to Fogel. They go to Transberger. High post. Knocks Stephon down and fired good. Well, if it had been on the other end, it had been a call. 18-18. Tie ball game as Eads gets cut off. Gives it to St. Clair. Into the front court with it to Stephon Strain. As Stephon gives it back to Jeff St. Clair. Brings it toward the top of the key. To the left side to Eads. Eads holding it high overhead. Gives it back outside to St. Clair. 18-18. The Tigers will spread it out. And they'll try to eat some of that clock off to get in at halftime and try to get Miller back in the game. As DeWitt with the ball on the far side. Firing from 30 feet in and out. No good. Rebound pulled down by Dobyns-Bennett. They give it out to Garber. Garber into the front court with it. Gives it to Fogel on the left side. Back to Garber as they go to Transberger in high post. Phillips deflects the pass, picked up by Gray. And the ball knocked loose and out of bounds. And they give it to Dobyns-Bennett.
Gray's chance.
As Garber will inbound it for Dobyns-Bennett. 18-18. Inbounds pass to Transberger. Firing good. Transberger out of the lane. Puts it up and in. 20-18. The Tigers trail. As Mike Eads with the ball in the backcourt. Gives it to DeWitt into the front court. DeWitt goes toward the corner. Still on the dribble with it. Gives it back outside to Eads. Eads leaves it for St. Clair. 20-18. Tigers trail by 2. To DeWitt. DeWitt on the wing, right side. Holds it overhead. Gives it back to Jeff St. Clair. As he's directing some traffic out there. And they give it back to James DeWitt. DeWitt dribbles it 3 times. Gives it back to DeWitt. To Phillips on the near side. David gives it back to Jeff St. Clair. As Jeff gives it to Phillips on the high post. Goes to the lane. Tries to drop it underneath to Stephon. Has it taken loose.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
it comes out to Dobyns-Bennett. As Garber carrying the ball. Gives it to Transberger. And now they throw it out of bounds. As the Tigers got the ball back. But boy, it was...
Glenn, I have never seen the like of this. That boy carried that ball...
like a football. Had it under his arm.
Oh, my goodness.
20-18. The Tigers trailing by 2. As DeWitt with the ball in the front court for the Tigers. Goes down the lane, hooking it up, rolls it off the rim, no good. We got a whistle, a foul on DeWitt, I'll bet.
Yes, sir. Foul is on James DeWitt, his second. I know this sounds like we're really on the officials, and I'm sorry if it sounds that way, but hey, something's wrong here.
Lee Garber will be on the free throw line for Dobyns-Bennett. 20-18. Tigers lead by 2. As Garber fires, it's good. 21-18. Do you think Tennessee officials trying to uphold Tennessee Scholastic basketball?
Well, I don't know what's going on, but it ain't
Garber
good.
fires again, it's good. 22-18. Tigers trail by 4 now. As DeWitt throws it in, intercepted by Garber. Goes down the lane, and DeWitt blocks it, and a foul call on DeWitt again.
3 on James DeWitt.
3 on James DeWitt.
And the goal may be good.
No, he rejected the ball all the way out to the top of the circle. 4:09 left to play in the first half. As Garber fires, it's good. 23-18, 5-point lead now for Dobyns-Bennett. As Lee Garber on the line, fires again. It's good. 24-18. As St. Clair with the ball in the backcourt, gets it to Mike Eads. Mike into the front court, starts it toward the baseline, fakes, fires, good. Mike Eads, 24-20. The Tigers trail by 4. As Fogel into the front court with it for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it outside to Lee Garber. Garber gets it in the corner to Fogel. The ball knocked loose, picked up by Garber. Goes in the lane, fires off the iron, no good. Rebound, fought for, comes out. St. Clair comes out of the muddle with it. As Jeff into the front court, works on Fogel. Goes around the line, fires, it's in and out, no good. Foul called on Eads. That's on Phillips. Number 1 on Phillips.
And this has become a foul shooting ball game. Dobyns-Bennett in the first 3.5 minutes has shot 6 foul shots.
24-20. Tigers trail by 4 with 3:38 left to play in the first half, as the officials have taken the ball game away from the Tigers. They've taken it away from the players altogether, really. As Derek Flack will be on the free throw line, firing. It is in and out, no good.
And Garber was all over Phillips.
As the ball comes out to the Tigers, Eads comes down, firing, good. Eads hits it from the right side about 12 feet out. 24-22, the Tigers down by 2 as Fogel brings it to the front court, down the left side. Throws it out of bounds. Are they going to give that to Grosso?
No, they gave it to Princeton. Princeton's going to have to outplay Dobyns-Bennett by 10, 12 points to win this ball game.
As Jeff St. Clair into the front court with 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. Eads on the top of the key, firing from out of the key, off the flange, no good. We got a whistle on a foul. Is that called on Fogel? Now Fogel's upset.
It's on Flack, and it's Flack's third foul.
And you know that was a late whistle right there.
Well, yeah, I thought the only person who could commit that foul had been Fogel. Getting into the ball game will be Rodney Bly. This is the other starter that's had the injured ankle for shots.
Well, now Flack with 3 fouls is an expendable commodity because they got their regular starter did not start tonight.
So Dobyns-Bennett wants a timeout. So with 3:22 left to play in the first half, it is Dobyns-Bennett 24, Princeton 22. We'll be back right after this. Okay.
Well, I know that back in Princeton there are people saying that Glenn May and Bob Graham and that Charlie Wright character are just on the officials because things are not going Princeton's way. But Princeton's in this ball game, and things, it's not that Princeton's not in the ball game. There have just been some terrible officiating, absolutely terrible. Last night we saw a melee, and tonight it's just been nitpicky. It's all been nitpicky in Dobyns-Bennett's favor.
So 24-22, the Tigers trail by 2. We'll have Mike Eads on the free throw line for the Tigers with 3:22 left to play in the first half. As Eads will all be on the line, and he'll shoot 2. He fires the first one, it's good. He'll have a second attempt. 24-23. Tigers trail by 1 now with 3:22 to play. As he hits it, 24-24, tie ball game with 3:22 to play in the first half. As Garber gives it to Fogel for Dobyns-Bennett. Fogel down the left side, gives it back to Garber, out of the point position, directs traffic, and gives it to Fogel. Fogel brings it across the top of the key toward the right side, holds it up, gives it back to the far side to Bly. As they go in underneath with it to Garber, a driving, and they got a foul call.
Maybe on Scooter Will. No.
They don't need.
2.
On David Phillips. That's number 2 on David.
Fogel came through there like, might have been a pile of dirt. It would have been like a bulldozer hitting a pile of dirt.
Garber. As Garber fires, no good. He'll have a second one, though. Lee Garber on the line for Dobyns-Bennett. To fire a free throw, he puts it up, and it is good. 25-24, Tigers trail by 1. As Eads with the ball, gets it to the front court for the Tigers, down the left side, on the wing position now. Holds it up, gives it back outside to St. Clair. Gives it right back to Mike Eads with Mike looking underneath. Gives it back to St. Clair, they go to the other side with it. To Stephon out on the wing. As Eads got roll block going across the middle. As St. Clair with the ball, gives it to Will. He's on the wing on this side. Tigers trail by 1 with 2:44 to play in the first half. Eads with the ball, moves it in toward the lane, fakes, drops it underneath to Phillips. Phillips works around, gives it back outside to Eads. Eads picks it up, gives it to St. Clair. St. Clair on the point position, starts it inside again, gives it to Will on the wing on the left side. They go outside with it to Eads. As Eads gives it back to St. Clair. As Jeff working, gives it back to Eads on the wing, right side, goes through the lane, firing from 17 feet, it's off the flange, no good. St. Clair rebounds, puts it up and in. St. Clair tipping, puts it back up and in. 26-25. Tigers lead by 1. As Garber gets the ball to Bly. Bly into the front court with it for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it back to Garber on the point position. Directing traffic, gives it to Fogel. Fogel on the wing, left side, with 2 minutes to play in the ball game. To Bly, top of the key. Looks underneath, gives it back to Fogel from way outside, fakes the shot, cannot get it off. Drops it underneath to Gray. Gray backs his way in, fires over Phillips, good. John Gray. 27-26, Tigers trail by 1 now as St. Clair with the ball. Moves it to the front court. To Mike Eads on the wing left side. Holding it up, gives it across court to David Phillips. Phillips to Jeff St. Clair. Jeff working it outside, takes it over to the right side. To Will on the wing. Gives it back outside to St. Clair. Jeff on the dribble with it, drops it underneath to Phillips, fakes, fires, no good, rebound, fought for. We got a whistle. Foul call on Phillips, I believe.
No, it's
on Gray, maybe.
I think maybe it's on 24, but let's see.
44. Bruce Transberger. And that'll put Mike Phillips on the line. That's number 1 on Transberger. Team foul number 4.
Number 5.
Number 5, okay. Phillips will shoot the 1-on-1. 27-26, the Tigers trail by 1 with 1:22 to play. As Transberger to fire the 1-on-1. Check it as Phillips to fire the 1-on-1. He puts it up, no good off the flange. Rebound pulled down by Bly up Dobyns-Bennett. And they're out and running. He's got it to Fogle. Goes down, fires. Good. 29-26. Tigers trail by 3. As St. Clair gets it to Eads. Eads in the backcourt. They double team him. Gets it back to St. Clair. And Jeff brings it toward the left side. Into the front court. Gives it to Eads as Mike takes it down toward the side of the key. Drops underneath to Stefan. Stefan goes under. Pops, fires. Good. Stefan strains. 29-28. Tigers within 1 with 55 seconds to play in the first half. As Bly into the front court with it for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it outside to Garber. To Fogle on the far side. As they go to Transberger in the lane, firing good. Bruce Transberger. 31-28. Tigers trail by 3 with 38 seconds to play in the first half. As Eads with the ball in the backcourt for the Tigers against the press of Dobyns-Bennett. To Scooter Grill. Grill into the front court. To the corner. Gives it back to Eads on the wing position. As they look outside, they'll play for 1 shot and try to go in only 1 point down. As the Tigers saddle heavily with fouls, is DeWitt and Miller both on the bench with 3. As Scooter Grill starts it down inside, gives it back to St. Clair with 13 seconds on the clock. Eads with the ball left side. Back to St. Clair, now to Eads. As Eads works it toward the lane, works on his man, fakes, pumps, now he fires. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound fought for, picked up by St. Clair with 2 seconds. Fakes, fires, throw whistle, and that's it. So at the end of the first quarter of play, the Princeton Tigers with 31, and we'll be back right after this.
A fake when he wears a chief hat. Bingo.
Okay, we're back at halftime. The Tigers with 12 points in the second quarter, 16 in the first for a halftime of 28. Dobyns-Bennett with 13 in the first quarter, 18 in the second quarter for a halftime of 31. 31-28 halftime score. We'll be back with all the stats and so forth. First, let's pause for this.
Halftime at Sullivan North High School, Princeton 28, Dobyns-Bennett 31. Individual stats for Dobyns-Bennett. Garber has 1 field goal, an amazing 5 of 6 from the foul line, 7 points. John Gray, 1 field goal, 2 points. Bruce Transberger, 5 field goals, 10 points. Derek Black, 1 field goal, 1 of 3 at the foul line, 3 points. Scott Fogle, 3 field goals, 1 of 2 at the foul line, 7 points. For giving them 11 field goals, 7 of 11 at the foul line. For Princeton, Mike Eads, 4 field goals, 2 of 2 at the foul line, 10 points. Jeff St. Clair, 4 for 4 at the foul line, 1 field goal, 6 points. James DeWitt, 1 field goal for 2 points. Stefan Strain, 1 field goal for 2 points. Jimmy Miller saddled with 3 fouls early in this ballgame, 4 field goals. He did not score in the second quarter, 8 points. David Phillips came in and missed his only free throw opportunity for no points, giving Princeton a total of 11 field goals, 6 of 7 from the foul line. And we will go to Charlie White for team statistics.
Okay, for Princeton in the first half, they made 11 of 27 for 40%. Dobyns-Bennett made 12 of 26 for 46%. Princeton pulled down 17 rebounds compared to Dobyns-Bennett's 10, and Princeton committed 6 turnovers compared to Dobyns-Bennett's 3.
Okay, we'll be back with special guests right after this. As we're at Sullivan North High School in Kingsport, Tennessee, and we've got a special guest at halftime, Benny Compton, the athletic director here at Sullivan North and fine athletic facility. First of all, Benny, let's say welcome aboard.
Thank you, Glenn. We're glad to have you people down here from West Virginia.
We do express our appreciation for the hospitality, the cooperation that we have received from everybody concerned with this extravaganza or get together? It's not a tournament, so I guess you just call it a get together.
Yeah, well, we call them, Glenn, just the Greater Kingsport Classic. What we try to do is get better teams from 300 or 400 miles around here to come in here and have the type of basketball that we've had here the last 2 nights.
The facilities that we've worked in the last 2 nights have been just nothing short of exceptional. Of course, over at Dobyns-Bennett High School, we had a very large facility, and then we're out here at Sullivan North tonight, and it's the new facility, a very fine facility. If there's any fault to it at all, it could be an access road and lack of adequate parking for everybody. Because you can only park about, maybe 1,000 cars?
Well, I tell you, Glenn, you'd be surprised. The parking lot out front is not all that large. We get maybe 1,000 cars there, but like you say, this is a 60-acre facility here. We got 6 acres under the roof alone, and as far as the parking, I can park another 2,000 cars right now. Coming in by the same access. But again, we're not picking fault for the facilities at all. We're very pleased, and one of the reasons why that we wanted you up here with us at halftime is that we're building a new high school at Princeton, and we're going to have, of course, the gymnasium and so forth. And now the gymnasium right here, right now, will seat approximately what? Well, I tell you, Glenn, they say 4,200, but really about we have seating for maybe 3,800, and the way this gymnasium is laid out, we can get another 400 on each end, and the farm marshals will allow me 4,275 people in this facility.
And that's a pretty good crowd.
Well, we have a fire crowd tonight. The word got out there was going to be a sellout, and it really hurt our ticket sales. Now, getting back to the parking, like you were mentioning a while ago, the access to the main road here is a problem. Like I say, we've got fields that we can put people, automobiles, but when this ball game is over, your people are going to find out they're going to have a hard time getting back out of here because we only have one road.
We're going to have a picnic lunch, huh?
Have a picnic lunch. That's the reason we're going to feed all 4 teams when this ball game is over, because they'll have time to share and have supper here, and I don't know if they'll be able to leave when that's over.
Well, now, also within the sports complex here, now you've got a full-size gymnasium with folding bleachers, and it looks like when these bleachers fold up, you've got 2 complete cross-court gymnasiums, and I've noticed there's one up on the balcony to the right.
Yes, we have 3 gymnasium in this one complex right here, plus the upper deck over there, we have badminton courts in that area. To the right of us here, we have a swimming pool, real nice swimming pool. Classrooms are underneath that particular side over there. Underneath this particular area here, we have a weight room. I think there's 4 dressing rooms, coaches' offices, and things of that nature.
The expense of putting together a complex like this, of course, I think this went into operation, last year or year before last?
Well, no, this is the first year we've used this complex.
What kind of expense, total dollar figure were you looking at?
Well, the building itself was $9.5 million. Plus, we spent another $1.8 million on our football facilities.
And, of course, the football field right down to the right as we come up to the high school, and they have the bleachers on both sides, and we notice the glassed-in press boxes and the, look like the arc lights. Look like a pretty good facility.
Yes, our football stadium, we feel like, is one of the finest probably in East Tennessee. Now, we only seat about 8,000 people. But, that's going to take care of most of our ball games.
All right, now, one of the other things that I wanted to bring up, within about a 15 or 20, maybe 25-mile radius of here, there are several schools somewhere near the same size that really get into competition in basketball and football.
Oh, yes, we have 20 schools within 40 miles of this school right here. We have, really, I guess maybe more than that, we have the Big Ten Conference in which we're in. Of course, there's 10 teams in it, and then we have the Intermountain Conference, which is down the road here. They have 9. Now, these are all AAA students, too. Like I say, there's not 300 students between all these schools.
But this is one of the things that makes the need for athletic facilities such as this, because you've got schools of that size traveling back and forth, and they take crowds with them.
Yes. Especially the what we call the Sullivan County schools that here within our own county. We played DB up here a few weeks ago, and
Well, you just absolutely couldn't get in this gymnasium. We had probably twice as many people as we have tonight.
One of your boosters members told me that a few days ago when Sullivan North played Dobyns-Bennett over at Dobyns-Bennett, right, that the figure of people went into 5 figures. He said, don't tell the fire marshal, but we say there was over 10,000 people in that gym.
Well, I really don't think there was that many, even though there was a great deal more in that game than what we had there last night.
What was in there last night? About 7,000?
I'd say probably 62 to 6,500. Well, maybe about 6,000 last night, really.
Pretty good crowd overall.
Oh, yes. Since the fire marshal, I think lets them have 54, 5,500, you see.
Well, you just don't announce official attendance.
Well, no, it's, like I say, it's, but the many free passes is out, in the surrounding area. It's really hard to tell. I know I've been working out front, and everybody who's came in on coach's pass, TWSAA pass or anything, we've kept up with it because farm marshals, they pulled me here for an hour yesterday morning. They're going to see that we run this thing right tonight.
By the way, I've heard that there's a fire marshal around here. He said, man, you can trust anybody. Said, Benny Compton said, that guy, he'll get you.
Well, we like to say, this is our first year.
Evidently, you've got him before.
Right, well, we must have hit him pretty good when we had our DB game up here. We lost count and
lost count accidentally.
We lost count, and like I say, this is our first year, and I've already spent about $75,000 on equipment, and we weren't going to take any chances of losing out.
Well, that's right. Then the guy, he's driven all the way up here from Dobyns-Bennett. That's every bit of a 10 or 15-minute drive. You didn't have the heart to turn him away at the door, did you?
Well, no, we couldn't do that. We're proud of our facility. We want people to see it.
Thanks a lot for visiting with us. We've enjoyed your facility. We've enjoyed your company. Enjoyed all the things.
Yes, sir, man. We hope to get up your way here in a year or two, and maybe come up there and have one of these classics. And
we're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Benny Compton, the athletic director of Sullivan North High School. We'll be back right after this. For second half, as we'll have Miller to jump against John Gray of Dobyns-Bennett. 28 to 31, Tigers trail as DeWitt takes the tap to Eads, fires it up and in as Mike Eads gets the first bucket of the second half for the Tigers on a feed from DeWitt. 31 to 30, the Tigers down by 1 now. As Black into the front corner with it for Dobyns-Bennett. To Garber on the top of the key. He's out at the post with it. As he'll give it to the far side to Vogel. As Vogel moves it down toward the top of the key, holds it high overhead now, looking underneath. Gives it to Black on the near side. As Black gives it to Garber. Tigers in a 1-3-1 zone. As Vogel starts it toward the baseline. Cut off by DeWitt and helped out by Eads. Gives it back outside to Transbarger. As they give it into the corner to Vogel. Firing out of the corner. Good. Scott Vogel. Firing from 25 feet. Puts it in. As St. Clair gives it to Eads, and Eads will bring it to the front court for the Tigers. 33 to 30. Gives it back to St. Clair. Jeff tops the key with it. To the right side to DeWitt on the wing. Firing from 25 feet. Got it. 33-32. The Tigers down by 1 with 6:59 to play. Maybe DeWitt's going to get a hot hand. There's hope. As Garber gives it to Vogel. As Vogel backs his way toward the key. Takes it down to the wing position. Drops it to Transbarger on the high post. Puts it on the floor one time. Gives it underneath to Gray as they get it to Garber underneath. Puts it up and in. Lee Garber. As Garber gets a lot of garbage points for Dobyns-Bennett as he's right around the ball quite a bit. Good ball player. As St. Clair to DeWitt on the wing. They drop it to Miller on the low post. Works underneath. Puts it up and got it. Jim Miller gets it for the Tigers. 35-34. Tigers trail by 1. 6:23 to play in the third quarter. Scott Vogel into the front court with it for Dobyns-Bennett. Cross court with it to Flack. Flack gives it to Garber. Garber on the point position. The 6'5" point guard here for Dobyns-Bennett gives it to Vogel on the near side. Goes through the baseline. Gives it back outside to Garber. Firing out of the lane. No good. Gray rebounds it up and in. As DeWitt inbounds it to St. Clair. And Jeff will bring it to the front court right across the center circle. Toward the top of the key with it. To the left side to Eads. Eads gets it to Miller. Miller on the low post. Works toward the baseline. Fires off the baseline. On the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Garber of Dobyns-Bennett. As Garber will bring it toward the front court. Rolled it down his leg. Double dribble and still got it. Gives it to Vogel. Firing from outside. It's off the iron. Hits the top of the backboard. Rebound comes down. Vogel's got his own rebound. As Vogel circles outside with it. Gives it to Garber. Garber gives it back to Vogel as they go to Transbarger on the baseline, firing good. Bruce Transbarger Hits it for Dobyns-Bennett. 39-34. The Tigers drop 5 points off the pace now with 5:19 to play in the third quarter. As St. Clair, top of the key with it, gives it to Eads. Eads drives it toward the baseline. Flack picks him up, gives it back outside of the Witt. He'll fire from 20 feet. Firing off the iron. We got a whistle and a foul underneath. And it may be called on Gray. I don't know. We'll see who it's called on. As I lost the signal, as we had somebody running in front of us.
His second.
On John Gray, foul number 2. As the Witt inbounds it to Eads. Eads on the wing position. Brings it out front, gives it to St. Clair. St. Clair to the Witt. He's on the wing on the right side, looking underneath. Gives it back to St. Clair on the point position. They go to Eads on the left side. Eads looking underneath. Can't get it to Miller. They've tried him triple team. Gives it back to St. Clair. Drives it to the lane. Gives it to the Witt. Goes to the baseline. Fires off the baseline. On the iron. No good. Rebound to Tranbarger of Dobyns-Bennett. 39-34. The Tigers trail by 5. As into the front court with it, we got a whistle and a foul on DeWitt, I believe, as he and Flack tying it up. That's number 4 on James DeWitt. Team foul number 1 on the Tigers. And we'll get David Phillips into the ball game for the Tigers.
James DeWitt is not going to be able to do much from the bench.
You're right.
But now David Phillips is an excellent ball player and a sophomore, and he does a good job for him.
So we've got Flack with the ball. Gives it to Garber to the left side. To Fogel, gives it back to Garber to Flack, and they go around the horn. Now to Tranbarger, firing off the baseline. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound tipped up by Garber. Gray puts it up at the end. As Garber went over top of Phillips on that one, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
41-34. The Tigers trail by 7 now. As Eads with the ball. Gives it to St. Clair. As Jeff gives it to Phillips, he's on the wing right side. Bounces it one time, gives it to Stefan on the high post, gives it back outside to Phillips. They go around the horn to Eads. Works it inside, can't get the shot. Gives it back outside to St. Clair, top of the key. Drops it to Miller in the lane, triple team, fires, got it. Miller, 41-36. Tigers down 5 with 3:57 to play. As they bring it to the front court, Dobyns-Bennett on the offense. Garber with the ball, top of the key. Bounces it, leaves it for Fogel. As Fogel comes to the key, and Garber goes to a low post. As Garber directing traffic from the low post in there, they want Flack on the other side. Now they go into the key with it to Tranbarger, puts it up, no good. Tranbarger rebounds, puts it up again, no good. We got a whistle and a foul, and who's it on?
On Phillips, his third.
As David Phillips, let's make sure. You're right, it is Phillips, his third. Team foul number 2 on the Tigers. As that'll put Bruce Tranbarger on the free throw line for Dobyns-Bennett. And the Tigers want timeout. So with 3:36 left to play in the third quarter. Dobyns-Bennett of Kingsport 41, Princeton Tigers 36. We'll be back right after this. Dobyns-Bennett opening up a 5-point lead. They had it at 7 one time. As now the Tiger cheerleaders getting ridiculed on the floor and losing some composure. 41-36. Tigers is trailing by 5 with 3:36 left to play in the third quarter. The team sprinkler huddle.
Yeah, we might mention Tranbarger is a fine-looking 6'6" sophomore for Dobyns-Bennett. He's 15 years of age and weighs 180 pounds. Going to be a good ball player for them.
As Tranbarger fires the free throw, good. He'll have a second one. 42-36. Tigers trailing by 6 now. Tranbarger fires, good. 43-36. 7-point advantage for the Dobyns-Bennett Indians now. St. Clair with it to the front court for the Tigers. Takes it to the point position. To Phillips. Phillips on the wing on the right side. Gives it back outside to St. Clair. Gives it right back to Phillips. Phillips back to St. Clair. Top of the key with it to Eads. Eads on the left side. Firing from 20 feet. Got it. Eads from 20 feet. Dropped it. 43-38. 5-point deficit for the Tigers. As Garber will bring it to the front court for Dobyns-Bennett. As Eads had a hand on that ball. And they found... As Fogel with the ball. Gives it back to Garber. Garber to Fogel. As Fogel holds it high overhead. Goes across the top of the key with it. Still dribbling. Gives it to Garber. Garber on the left side. As Fogel firing from outside. Good. As Fogel hits it from 20 feet. That's Fleece to Scott Fogel. 45-38. Aziz brings it back to the front court for the Tigers now. And St. Clair gives it to Miller. High post into the lane. Goes down, pump, puts it up and in. Good. Miller. 45-40. The Tigers trailing by 5 with 2:29 left to play in the third quarter. As Black with the ball for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it outside to Lee Garber. Garber top of the key with it. As Fogel backs his way in with the ball, looking underneath. Now he gets it to Garber on the high post. To Tranbarger firing from off the side. Good. Tranbarger from 12 feet puts it up and in. 47-40. The Tigers trailing by 7 with 2 minutes and 4 seconds to play in the third quarter. As Jeff St. Clair gets it to Miller, high post. Turnaround jump shot 12 feet. He's got it. 47-42. Tigers trail by 5. As Lee Garber with the ball, works it toward the front court, gives it to Scott Fogel. Fogel headed off by St. Clair, takes it out across the top of the point position, between the circles, still dribbling with it. Now he picks it up and gets it to Garber. Garber standing top of the key, goes underneath with it to Gray, picks it up and in. It's Gray on the pick and roll. Got it? 49-42. Tigers trail by 7 as Eads with the ball, brings it to the front court on the far side. To St. Clair, top of the key, and the pass knocked out of bounds by Derek Black of Kingsport. So the Tigers inbounded. St. Clair with the ball to Phillips on the near side. Back to St. Clair. To Eads on the far side wing. 1:18 on the clock. They drop it to Stephon on the low post. Firing off the post on the iron. No good. Stephon rebounds in the lane. Dribble, fakes. We got a double dribble, I believe.
Got a foul on Black.
Is that right?
Let's see.
You're right.
That's number 4 on Derek Black. Team foul number 2 on Dobyns-Bennett in the second half.
So the Tigers will have the ball out of bounds. If it's non-shooting foul, they make it stay out of bounds for the Tigers. Phillips will inbound it for the Tigers. As he gives it outside to St. Clair, tipped loose, but picked up by Mike Eads. Eads at the wing position, gives it back to St. Clair, top of the key. Jeff starts it toward the lane, gives it to Phillips. He's on the wing, out to the right, looking underneath. Gives it back to St. Clair. As Jeff goes toward the lane, gives it to Eads. Firing out of the corner, it's on the iron, no good. Rebound pulled down by Dobyns-Bennett. Garber comes out with it. Starts it toward the front court. 49-42, the Tigers trailing. With 49 seconds to play in the third quarter, Fogel fires. Good. Fogel from 25 feet. 51-42 as the Tigers fall off the pace by 9 points. As Mike Eads leaves the ball for Jeff St. Clair, as the Tigers come to the offense. Eads leaves it for Phillips. Firing good. David Phillips from 12 feet. 51-44. A 7-point deficit for the Tigers right now. As Fogel with the ball into the front court with it as St. Clair called for the foul. That's number 3 on Jeff.
Team foul number 3 on Princeton.
Team foul.
Now that was a good call. Jeff reached around, and that's just a no-no in good defense out that high. But they only get the ball out of bounds.
21 seconds to play in the third quarter. As Garber with the ball for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it to Fogel. Fogel, top of the key with it. As he gives it back outside to Garber. 12 seconds on the clock. As they drop it to Fogel on the near side. Back to Garber, top of the key. As they go to Gray in the lane. Eads sides him up. Miller blocks the shot. Transporter crashed the board. As the Tigers come out with it. Eads goes down, lays it up. We got a whistle and a foul on somebody. Who's it on?
It's on John Gray, I believe. Let's see. I show John Gray with 3 fouls, but
3 seconds on the clock now. Gray called for the foul, his third. It'll be Tiger ball out of bounds. That's team foul number 3 on Dobyns-Bennett, and it'll be at half court.
WAEY, AM and FM, Princeton.
Clair gets it down to Eads, running jump shot, no good. As the end of the third quarter sounds, it is the Dobyns-Bennett Indians, 51 points. The Princeton Tigers, 44, and we'll be back with more first. Okay, Bob.
Getting ready for the start of the fourth quarter. Princeton trailing 51-44 against Dobyns-Bennett. Dobyns-Bennett has 20 field goals, 9 of 13 at the foul line. Princeton 19 field goals, 6 of 7 at the foul line. And I believe Charlie and Jack have some team statistics.
Okay, in the third quarter for Princeton, they made 8 of 14 for 64%. Dobyns-Bennett made 9 of 14 for 64%. And rebounds 7 for Dobyns-Bennett and 2 for Princeton. Neither team committed a turnover in that quarter.
Tigers out-rebounded badly in the third quarter.
Sure did.
Ready for the fourth quarter for the Tigers. We'll have Mike Eads, David Phillips, Jimmy Miller, James DeWitt back out there, and Jeff St. Clair. We'll have Miller in the jump against John Gray. Kept control by the Tigers as Eads pulls it out. Gives it to Jeff St. Clair. Jeff will start the offense. Moves it to the top of the key to Eads on the left side. Gives it back to St. Clair. As Jeff firing out of the top of the free throw circle. Good. 51-46. 5-point deficit for the Tigers now. As Dobyns-Bennett working against the Tiger face-up man-to-man. Get it in the front court to Bly. As Bly goes through the lane, gives it back outside to Garber. Garber leaves it for Fogel. As Fogel dribbling outside with it. St. Clair picks him up. Holds it high overhead now. Gives it to Bly. Bly drops it on the high post to Garber. Firing off the glass. Got it. Lee Garber. 53-46. Tigers trailing by 7 as Mike Eads to the wing position. Gives it to St. Clair. To the Witt on the wing. They go to Miller high post. Gives it back to St. Clair. Firing from 17 feet on the iron. Got it. Hung it on the front iron and dropped it. 53-48. As Garber with the ball in the backcourt for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it to Fogel. Fogel backs his way up. Goes down the left side with it. Looking for help now. And taken away by Jeff St. Clair. Rolls it out to Mike Eads. As Mike goes to the front court. Picks up, fires off the iron. No good. Rebound tipped out. Picked up by Transberger of Dobyns-Bennett. As they get it over to Garber. As Garber brings it across the center circle. Top of the key. To the right side to Bly. Looking into the baseline. Got Gray open. Gives it back outside though. We've got Fogel and now Garber. Now they go to Gray underneath inside and DeWitt crossing first and then Miller spikes it out of bounds. And it'll be to the Tigers as one of the Dobyns-Bennett Indians. Garber put a hand on it and knocked it loose out of bounds. Garber got his shot blocked twice. James DeWitt had it when he went up for it, and Jimmy Miller slapped it away. Yeah, he double clutched and put it back up. Miller corked it. As DeWitt with the ball for the Tigers on the wing. To St. Clair, firing from the top of the key. Off the iron, no good. Miller rebounding foul on Miller. That's number 4 on Jim. Team foul number 4 on the Tigers. Garber may be a Tennessee All-Stater, but he ate that one twice. Garber's a good ball player. Yes, he is. This is a good Dobyns-Bennett team. You can't, it's well coached, well disciplined, excellent ball team. As Garber gets it to Bly. Bly into the front court with it for Dobyns-Bennett. Backs his way through the top of the key. Gives it outside to Garber. Tigers playing a 2-1 zone right now. As they go to Bly on the far side. Now a 2-3. It's really a 2-3 zone for the Tigers. As Fogel with the ball gives it to Garber. Back to Fogel. Fogel, top of the key. He'll fire from there, and it is good. 55-48, 7-point advantage for the Dobyns-Bennett Indians over the Princeton Tigers. As Jeff St. Clair with the ball for the Tigers. The Eads on the right side, works it inside, gives it to Phillips, drives the baseline, goes down, and he is fouled by Garber. By Garber or Gray, I believe. No, I think you're right, it is Garber. Number 2 on Garber, team foul number 4. 5:39 to play in the ball game, 55-48. And we should have Phillips on the line to shoot 2 on that one. As David Phillips on the line to fire 2. He fires. It's on the iron and good. He'll get a second one. As David Phillips on the line. He'll fire again. It's good. 55-50. The Tigers trail by 5 with 5:38 to play in the ball game. As Garber gives it to Scott Fogel for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it back to Garber. He's still in the back court. To Fogel in the front court. Now back to Garber, and he'll set the offense. As they go to the far side to Bly on the wing position. Back to Fogel, top of the key. To Garber on the near side to Fogel, top of the key again. They go to Transberger on the far side. Back outside to Bly and to Fogel. As Fogel dribbles twice. Fakes the shot, holds it overhead, gives it back to Garber and back to Fogel. As they're trying to eat the clock on the Tigers now, as Transberger with it on the far side. Transberger fakes underneath, gets it to Gray underneath, comes across the lane, East slaps it loose and picks it up as Mike East comes out with the ball for the Tigers. 5 minutes to play. 55-50 as the Tigers come to the offense. Jeff St. Clair will bring it to the front court.
To Eads on the wing, on the left side. Starts it toward the baseline. Gives it back outside now to St. Clair. They come to the Witt on the near side. He'll fire from 25. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound goes to the floor. Picked up by Garber of Dobyns-Bennett. As Garber will bring it to the front court for Dobyns-Bennett. Gives it to Scott Fogle. Brings it up on the wing position. Gives it back outside to Lee Garber with 4.5 minutes to play. As Fogle with the ball out front with it for Dobyns-Bennett now, dribbling across the top of the key. Has given it to John Gray. Is Gray way out front now from his normal post position. With the ball top of the key, brings it to the near side as he'll have Garber as St. Clair takes it away and still comes up with it. Gets it underneath to Eads. Eads fires. It comes off no good. Miller fires and then puts it up and in. Miller. And I thought Miller could have got a foul on that one. He was over the back, but 55-52. The Tigers within 3 as Bly will bring it to the front court for Dobyns-Bennett. Wheels his way into the lane. Stop there. Gives it back outside to Garber. They go to Transberger on the far side. Goes to the lane. Fires over Miller and overhead. It's good. We got a whistle and a foul.
I believe the foul came before that shot. No bucket fouls on St. Clair.
It is on Jeff.
And that is a good foul. Although it's Jeff St. Clair's 4th foul in this foul game, team foul number 5. But the goal would have been good.
3:53 to play in the ball game. 55-52. The Tigers trail by 3, and we'll be back right after this. Well, he's out of his gourd if he doesn't have the well-officiated first half. 55-52. The Tigers trailing by 3, and the Dobyns-Bennett Indians will have Derek Black, or no, it'll be Rodney Bly on the free throw line, I believe, when we get him back out on the floor.
I thought it'd be Bruce Transparker.
Yeah, I believe 44.
Believe it's who?
Number 44.
Transparker.
Okay. Should be Rodney Bly. He's the guy who took the shot. Now, they put Transberger on. They've done it to us again. You're right. They did put Transberger on there.
It's a 1-and-1, too, so...
And he fires the first one. It's good. 56-52. The Tigers trail by 4 now with 3:53 left to play in the ball game. Transberger to fire one more. He put it up. It's on the iron and good. 57-52. As St. Clair will bring it to the front court for the Tigers. To the right side, to Mike Eads on the wing position. Back to St. Clair. To Miller on the high post. They triple teaming and take it away. 57-52. Dobyns-Bennett with the ball with 3:39 to play in the ball game. To the far side to Rodney Bly on the wing. Back to Lee Garber, and they bring it to Fogle on the near side. As they work it around, now to Transberger on the high post. Miller blocks the shot. The Witt takes it in the air.
Play was all over the Witt.
As the Witt into the front court with it on the dribble. Starts it toward the corner. They drop it to Miller low post. Spins, fires off the baseline. Throws it across court to David Phillips. Gives it back to Miller. He'll fire off the baseline. Good. 57-54 as Miller class showing on that one. 57-54. Tigers trail by 3. As Fogle gives the ball to Garber. Garber with the ball for Dobyns-Bennett. Top of the key. Gives it to Bly on the far side with it. He'll fire from 20 feet. It's good. 59-54. The Tigers trailing by 5 with 2:52 to play. As the Witt goes inside, gives it to Miller. Goes to the baseline. Turnaround jump shot in and out. No good. Rebounding in heavy traffic is Bly. We got a whistle and watching call.
Now, there the Dobyns-Bennett fans do have a legitimate right. Bly was fouled, no question about it, and they called him for traveling.
As the Tigers want a timeout. So with 2:43 left to play in the ball game, Dobyns-Bennett 59, Princeton 54. We'll be back. First, let's pause for this. Princeton's had starting lineup in there. How long? Oh, we're back on the air. Go ahead, Bob.
2:43 left in the game. Score 59-54. Dobyns-Bennett in the lead. Princeton's ball out of bounds, and it's going to be a wild and woolly last 2:43. And for those folks who might have wondered how Princeton would fare against interstate competition, I think we've done well.
Well, there's no doubt about that. The Tigers have done well, but they could have done much better with an even break in the first half. See that Tiger right down there? We saw that big box this morning, didn't we? That's a $44.95 Tiger.
Actually, it was on sale for $19. I got the straight story on that. It was on sale for $19.
Just because we were here.
Why are they selling Tigers on sale? I thought that would be an important commodity that would never be on sale.
Well, you know, too many Tigers, I guess. The Witt inbounds it for the Tigers to Eads. Gives it to St. Clair. They go across court with it to the Witt. Goes to the corner. Has a shot fought. He's fouled by Rodney Bly. 2:38 left to play, 59-54. James DeWitt to go to the free throw line. A shooting foul.
It's the fifth team foul, and it's on Rodney Bly, his first.
Rodney Bly is the first.
DeWitt fires the free throw, no good. Off the flange, ball tipped outside, picked up by St. Clair. As Jeff goes toward the baseline, holds it up now. Cross court to Mike Eads. Eads will fire from 17 off the front iron, no good. Transbarger rebounds, Eads fouls it. That's number 2 on Mike. Team foul number 6 on the Tigers. That'll put Transbarger on the free throw line for Dobyns-Bennett.
Transbarger's had 4 opportunities, and he's hit all 4 of them tonight.
Good looking sophomore.
Yes, he is. Strong, physical, well-built kid. 15 years old. Doing very well in a game with this intensity for a 15-year-old.
As Transbarger fires good, he'll get a second one. 60-54. 6-point deficit for the Tigers now. They trail by 6. As Transbarger will have one more crack at it. He fires. That's good. 61-54. 7-point advantage for the Indians of Dobyns-Bennett over the Tigers of Princeton. The St. Clair brings it to the front court to DeWitt. They drop it to Miller, low post. Puts it up, no good. Rebound pulled down by Fogle of Dobyns-Bennett. As Fogle leaves it for Garber. Garber gives it back to Fogle. And Fogle gives it back to Garber, and they're still in the back court with it. Now he gets it to the front court. To Transbarger on the wing. As they go to Bly on the baseline, gives it way back out front to Garber. As Garber flips it across court to Fogle. Fogle double team, gives it back to Garber. Garber to Fogle. As they play out front with it, they kill the clock. 61-54. Tigers trailing by 7. As Fogle with the ball to Garber. Try and get it to Bly. As Bly got it, he is fouled by Mike Eads. That's number 3 on Mike.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if they call that an intentional foul. I wouldn't think so.
No, that's not a deliberate foul. No way. 1-1. Because the pass was deflected, and they were both going for it. A minute 41 to play in the ball game. Dobyns-Bennett 61, Princeton 54. And we'll have Rodney Bly on the free throw. And the Tigers want a timeout. So, a timeout on the floor. Let's pause 30 seconds for this. Maybe the scoreboard's on. Well, Bob tells me he's got 2 points missing. Wonder where they are, Bob.
I don't know. We Princeton could sure use them to add on to that 54. The points I'm missing are probably what you might term the heat of the battle.
All right, we bring it back to live action. We've got the Dobyns-Bennett Indians 61, the Princeton Tigers 54. Dobyns-Bennett will be on the free throw line in the person of Rodney Bly. A minute 41 to play in the ball game. As Bly fires good, he'll have a second free throw. As Bly fires again, that's good. 63-54, 9-point advantage for Dobyns-Bennett now. A minute 40 to play as DeWitt brings it to the front court for the Tigers. Starts it toward the corner, brings it toward the lane now. Picks it up, gives it to St. Clair. To Eads on the near side. Works on his man, goes across the lane, goes into the lane, puts the shot up on the glass, no good. Rebound fought for Eads, has got it. Puts it on the glass and got the bucket as Eads refusing to give it up. 63-56 as Dobyns-Bennett got Gray out on the breakaway, puts it up in the end. John Gray. 65-56 as Eads to the front court with it for the Tigers. A minute 12 to play. They go to Miller on the high post. Bang over Gray. Got it. 65-59 as Fogle brings it to the front court for Dobyns-Bennett. Miller heads him off as he gives it outside to Lee Garber. Garber at the center circle. They double team him. He gets it to Fogle. Fogle goes toward the wing. Brings it back outside now. Still dribbling as Eads giving chase. Holds it up, gets it to Garber, and Jeff St. Clair knocks it loose there to scramble. We'll have a jump ball. And they give it to Dobyns-Bennett out of bounds. And the ball against the official. And he didn't mean to do it, he just bounced the ball. As what they call...
That should be a jump ball.
Well, what they called was when they both of them had their hands on the ball, St. Clair touched the baseline with his foot. So inbounds to Dobyns-Bennett. As they get it inbounds to John Gray, they double team him. Miller takes it away. Foul on Miller!
He might have got him with his body, but That's 5 on Jim Miller.
Jim, he's out there.
Jimmy Miller leads with 11 buckets, 22 points.
Did he get to the free throw line?
No, sir. He never made it to the free throw line.
45 seconds left to play in the ball game. 65-58, 7-point advantage to Dobyns-Bennett.
First time this season, Jimmy Miller has not been to the foul line.
45 seconds left in the ball game. On the free throw line will be John Gray of Dobyns-Bennett. As we get Stephon Strain and Scooter Quill, along with Jeff St. Clair and Mike Eads in the ball game for the Tigers. As Gray fires the free throw, it's on the iron, no good. Stephon rebounds for the Tigers. Feeds it out to Quill. Quill on the left side, into the front court with it, on the dribble, starts it in the lane, goes in, has the shot rejected, picked up by Eads. Eads goes into the lane. He'll double clutch and pump. Good. Eads hits it. 65-60. 31 seconds to play as Fogel brings the ball to the front court for Dobyns-Bennett. Works it toward the baseline. The Tigers trying to double team him and a triple team him, and now they got a foul call of Scooter Quill. And that puts Fogel on the free throw line.
Fogel is the wrong man to have at the free throw line. But if you're Coach Van Huss, that's the fella you want to handle the ball because he is an excellent outside shooter, excellent free throw shooter.
23 seconds left to play in the ball game. The Tigers lead by 5. And Mike Eads really whooping it up for the Tigers. Mike playing with an awful lot of intensity. What's he got for tonight? He's played a heck of a floor game, too.
8 field goals, 2 for 2 at the foul line, 18 points.
65-60. Tigers trailing by 5 with 23 seconds to play. As Fogel fires good. 66-60. And Fogel will have one more. As Fogel fires, it's good. 67-60. Tigers trail by 7. As St. Clair to the front court with it to Scooter Quill. As the ball kicked away, picked up, gives it to Jeff St. Clair, gives it to Mike Eads, firing good. Mike Eads hits it from 16 feet. 67-62 with 11 seconds on it. And Transberger, we got a whistle and a foul on Eads as he was fouling, going after the ball to Transberger. That's number 4 on Mike.
9 seconds to go, 67-62. I would say it's academic. That's an old word. I probably shouldn't use that word, academic.
What's it mean?
It's all over but the handwriting on the wall. And the handwriting's on that clock. So 67-62 and 9 seconds. Transberger, who has hit 6 of 6 from the foul line.
7 of 7. He just put another one in. 68-62. Tigers trail by 6 now with 9 seconds to play. The Tigers have played hard. They've given it all they had. They come up short. As Transberger fires again, it's good. 69-62. As Eads will bring it to the front court with 8 seconds. 7 seconds. Firing from outside on the iron. Stephon tipping. Got it. Stephon gets the Tigers within 6 with 1 second. That's the ball game. Final score. Dobyns-Bennett High School 69. The Princeton Tigers 64. As the Tigers could not close it down. We'll be back with more right after this.